I am going to be talking, no, I'm just going to stop talking, actually. Hello, welcome back to my channel. For anybody that doesn't know who I am, my name is Kelsey. First of all, I was diagnosed with vestibular migraines as well as POTS. So the vestibular migraines presumably started from vestibular neuritis about like 2 years ago. So now that we have that out of the way, I'm going to begin by talking about the beast of anxiety. Everybody has a love-hate relationship with anxiety. It's a huge thing that needs to be addressed, not only in the healthcare community, but the patient's community as well. It's definitely something that isn't always taken seriously in both of these aspects, but it is real, it's very powerful, it's visible, but also invisible at the same time. So when I say invisible, you can experience it subconsciously or in physical manifestations, or in that present moment, physically through like a panic attack or chest pain. So the biggest thing is we basically need to be able to differentiate, what are the anxiety symptoms and what are our, chronic illness symptoms or our condition. Or perhaps maybe this is happening in conjunction with my condition and vice versa, or not. But in that case, this video is not for you. Essentially, the prevalence of anxiety in patients with chronic illnesses is through the roof. It really becomes really incredibly difficult to, treat your underlying condition, without treating anxiety first. I'm going to pause because I know that there's going to be a 50-50 split here. Some will say, this is me, I'm really excited about hearing what you got to say. And there's also going to be somebody else that says, you know what? I really don't have an anxiety problem, and this is kind of a waste of my time because I never really had anxiety and I don't really deal with it on a daily basis. But that's where you're wrong, because personally I've battled a ton with anxiety, and I was in denial about all of my symptoms that I was feeling at the time and was believing that it wasn't anxiety. The intense emotions, crying, anger, frustration, my derealization feelings, lightheadedness, short of breath. I could go on and on and on about my symptoms and what I experienced, and I thought they were so weird and bizarre, but really in the grand scheme of things, it was all just anxiety, nagging at me. But basically, I just saw the world as if I were constantly in a dream, as if I were a spectator in my own body, fleeting and floating from moment to moment. My thoughts and judgments were clouded completely. I felt like my mind was always muddled and I was just muddy-headed for the most part, and it was hard for me to remember things that just happened. Like, I could be talking to somebody and forget everything that they just said, or being in a moment and feeling like it happened weeks ago, even though it just happened an hour ago. So I'd also look in the mirror and I'd be kind of freaked out because I couldn't really recognize the face that I saw looking back at me. And most of the time I really honestly just felt like I wasn't even alive. And that, I guess, is derealization for you. The Mayo Clinic describes it as... So Mayo Clinic describes anxiety as affecting patients who have suffered severe emotional trauma or PTSD. And there was also a study that was done on vestibular patients. So they studied, people that had anxiety, people that were vestibular patients that had anxiety, and then vestibular patients that reported no anxiety. The results showed that anxiety is consistently changing in your symptoms and what you're feeling. It's more frequent and more severe in patients with family history of anxiety or past anxiety experience concurrently than those that reported no anxiety. Patients with persisting vestibular symptoms had persisting anxiety symptoms. I'll link that study below, but it's crazy to think that, vestibular patients have more severe derealization symptoms and feelings that are reported than patients that, have vestibular symptoms but no anxiety, and also just, people that have normal anxiety and derealization, that the vestibular patients have it worse. If that doesn't tell you, that anxiety is so huge and so strong and powerful, I don't know what does. It's so frustrating to me when people will say, oh, it's just anxiety, or, oh, it's in your head, or it's not that big of a deal. Basically, all of these issues that I had with anxiety all happened in the beginning of my diagnosis. Guess what? Biggest thing that I realized is anxiety won't kill you. And you're not alone. You're loved and you're heard. I thought, you know, I really don't have anxiety that bad. It's really not that big of a deal. So I said all of that until it was. I let it rule and dominate my actions. Then it started to darken my thoughts and make me suicidal and extremely depressed. It's so tough to sit here and say that, like it's so nonchalant, but you know, I'm not sitting here talking to you acting like I know it all and I have everything all figured out and I've just got, you know, the world on a silver platter in front of me. I'm talking to you because I've been there. You know, I know what it's like, and I do not want you to get to where I was. Use this video, use this message as a sign to make a change and to get help and to seek help. You know, take that leap and jump into the unknown. Help yourself, because no one's really going to do it for you. And I hate to say that, but no one will. You know, the only person that can seek help and get better is you. You have to want it. You have to build up your strength and your courage and fight and find that willpower and stop making excuses. You have to want to be better, and you know, because for most of us, this isn't a disease that kills us, you know, thank God. Thank God this isn't a disease that kills us, but it's also sometimes a curse and a blessing, because it's a blessing because, yeah, it won't kill us, but a curse because it's like, you know, we got this basically life sentence. And that's just as shitty as somebody who, you know, maybe has a disease that has like this certain specific timeline. I don't believe in the whole, you know, oh, people have it worse than you. Well, no, because last time I checked, I mean, my diagnosis, sure, it's not going to kill me, but it's going to last forever, essentially, or I mean, I've had doctors tell me that this is permanent, you know what I mean, and there's no cure for this, there's no fix, there's management, but that's the thing, is you have to want that management, you have to want to find those preventatives and find a cure, or, you know, work to just wanting to feel better, even if it's just as simple as taking a step. That's the thing, you know, we might not ever be 100% again. You know, I sure as hell don't have my old normal life and never will be. And I'll never have that 100% again, but that's okay. I'm definitely not alone in this. And there's so many resources and people out there that have gone through this like myself and have felt it. And, you know, I thought that I was the only one that's ever had it as bad as I did. We only have one life, and we're all on a timeline. And we have the choice to kind of separate ourselves a little bit from our illness and not make it rule and dominate us so much, and give us a second chance to, you know, make a difference and make a change and make an impact, whether it's on yourself or in a bigger, grander scheme of things, you know. I came close to death by choice. I want to improve the quality of our lives and raise awareness.
Hi guys, so my camera rudely died on me. Please seek out help, you know, lean on your support systems, whatever that may be. Use your resources like VEDA, you know, the Vestibular Disorders Association, or, you know, anything else you can find. Just use your resources, your doctors, friends, family, and it's definitely okay to feel sorry for yourself, you know, and have those bad days. You know, we're only human, it's normal, but just promise you'll get right back up and just keep fighting, because you most definitely have got this, and it is not the end, it's just the beginning. Thank you.